Come on. Stephen, if you can hear me, good morning. Thank you for your time with us.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm very well. What about yourself?
I thank God I'm very fine.
Okay, so we're speaking with you live on Kessben and from the Republic of Ghana. We want to appreciate and understand the very things that are happening within the ECOWAS Court. We are told that your very self and some other colleagues of yours have been sacked, and then you are no longer on duty doing the requirement as prescribed by the court. So what actually happened? Why the termination of your appointment?
Actually, it's a very long story. I've been a subject of victimization for a very long time. But I started work with them. I was invited from Europe in 2018.
Okay.
And barely 1 year, I was sacked in 2019 for refusing to compromise my position. Because I write judgment for them, I research and write judgment.
92.9.
Yes, I'm hearing you. Yes, I'm hearing you.
So when I refused to compromise, I was sacked without going through disciplinary procedure. So it took the intervention of the Nigerian.
Hello, Stephen, can you hear me? Hello. Hello, Stephen, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. You're loud and clear.
Okay. So I was reinstated and deployed to the research department, but still attached to the office of the Nigerian judge as executive assistant, because the two offices are attached together. Now, there is an authoritarian style of government going on there. If you question anything, they subject you to humiliation, subject you to kangaroo disciplinary, and if you are not careful, as I am now, they give you a sack letter without going through the regulation procedure.
Yes, Stephen, let's hold on. Let's hold on with that. We will come to the details of that. But first of all, I want you to tell us the position you used to hold with the ECOWAS Court before your sack, and then upon your reappointment, what position was given you? Again, we are told that you were first nominated by the President of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for you to have come from UK, and then for you to have gotten the opportunity to work with the ECOWAS Parliament, for you to be where you are now, with all the challenges that you are facing. And so tell me your precise duty that you ought to have offered to the ECOWAS Court.
Yeah, I was actually invited then by the Nigerian judge, but under the presidency of a Ghanaian president of the court, Justice Amwako Ashanti. He was the one that signed my employment letter as an executive assistant to the Nigerian judge. When I was sacked in 2019, I was executive assistant to the Nigerian judge. When I was reinstated in 2020, I was still reinstated as executive assistant to the Nigerian judge, but as punishment for them breaking the rules, she was told not to have any other executive assistant. I should be working in the research department. But my office and tenure is still tied to her own tenure. So, as it were, as executive assistant, we research and we write the court judgment for them. That is basically our work. And we take up the head of the secretariat of the judges' chambers. It's like we are the head of the chambers who control every activity in the judge chamber. And that is the nutshell of the kind of job I do for them at ECOWAS Court of Justice.
But do you have specific problems with your bosses? For instance, the ECOWAS court president, who is in the person of His Lordship Justice Amwako Asante Edward. Do you have any sort of problem with your bosses?
In Initially, I didn't have any problem with any of the judges until my former principal asked me to go. And the president of the court then told me that he was forced by a Nigerian colleague judge to sign a termination letter for me, contrary to the regulation. Now, my personal problem started with him last year when he installed his own executive assistant as head of research, despite the fact that that executive assistant has not been working in the research department. He actually sat on the panel that took decision to install his own executive assistant, contrary to the rule of engagement in ECOWAS Court. So I petitioned on conflict of interest, and that was where he started having problem with me, that I have the guts to challenge him, even though he's breaking the ECOWAS regulation, that if you have interest in a position, you declare your interest and you recuse yourself from the decision making. He thought he was above the law, starting the decision making, and installed his own executive assistant. So I said, I'm going to protest against it because it is not proper. And that was where I started having problem with him.
I see. Now you are all over the internet in Ghana. To some extent, people are saying that there has been some level of injustice that has been meted out to you through the ECOWAS Court. Are you seeking redress with any of the courts?
Pardon me, I didn't get your question.
Yes, I'm not saying if you are seeking redress with a sort of injustice that has been meted out to you.
Yes, actually, I filed a case before the court, even before they stopped me from coming to work. And by the regulation, I'll quote the specific regulation to you because I'm a researcher. I know it off the head. We have a regulation, the Protocol 1991 on the ECOWAS Court. Precisely Article 22 sub 2 says that if there is a case pending before the court, the ECOWAS Commission or any of the institutions, that means including the court, they must not do anything that will stop the peaceful settlement of that case. My case was filed before the court, an anticipation of intent meant to violate my human rights, and I said they should give an injunction pending the determination of the issue dealing with the extension. It will surprise you that the president of the court of ECOWAS violated that rule. They rushed me, and on 13th of October, asked the director of admin and finance, who has no such authority, to give me a termination letter and to deny me access to the office immediately, starting from the 14th of October. So we have a situation whereby the court seems to be above the law of the ECOWAS community, and the impunity is so much that they can wake up one day and sack anybody and get away with it. And I think that is not the proper way. It's a systemic error. And those are part of the problem we are facing in Africa. It's a systemic error where an individual would think that he's now a semi-god because he has some measure of authority or power given unto him. And that is what I am going through as a victim of human rights violation of my employment rights and victimization, because I have the guts to be the only voice to rise up to say, no, this is not what the law says. And that is what I am being victimized for today.
I see. Have you made any petitions yet to the president of the republic? I mean, talking about President Buhari and then President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo.
The way the ECOWAS Commission works, the ECOWAS institution, is an independent institution, so to say. We have an internal procedure. Like, I have made a petition to the president of the ECOWAS Commission since 21st of September. I'm yet to hear anything as of now. So what should have followed is that I don't know why the president of the court is still refusing to give me termination letter up to date. And I keep challenging him that if he knows he's working in accordance with the law, he should give me termination letter stating the reason why I'm being terminated. Once he does that, I can then now go through the appeal process through the court to the Council of Ministers. Without a proper documentation, I cannot go through the system to say, okay, I've been officially terminated. What they are doing now is a kangaroo procedure, asking the director of admin through an internal memo instead of a letter to say that your appointment is terminated immediately. And the person doesn't possess that authority. Only the president of the court, Edward Amwako Ashanti, possesses that authority. And he's refusing to follow the rules. Because the rule says you give a 1 month notice of end of tenure or termination to a professional staff. He never did that. But they have refused me access to my office as I talk to you. I am talking from my house. And that is the situation. It is a process. When it gets to the authority of the Council of Ministers, then that is where they take the final decision. But before you can go before authority of the Council of Ministers, you must pass through your own institution of force. And that is why they are handicapping me. Without that final letter of termination, I cannot start the process through them. That is the situation.
Okay. Steve, let me say a very big thank you. We'll come back at you since it's a developing story to see how issues will transpire and then to see how best we can get you to resolve some of these things. I'm very grateful for your time this morning.
Thank you for granting me audience.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. A lot is happening in Nigeria.